Welcome back to the Tech Talks Daily podcast. And as always, once again, we're going to dive deep into the world of technology and innovation. And today's episode, we have a very special guest live on the show floor here at Cisco Live. He's someone who's pushing the envelope in the tech space, shaping our digital futures and enabling companies to achieve their desired outcomes faster through technology and innovation. His name is Alistair Wildman, and he's the head of Cisco Customer Experience and Services here at Cisco. And he's someone who's truly passionate about customer success, working closely with customers at every step of their journey and driving technology innovations that transform businesses. This shined in his keynote today in front of 10,000 people. But it's not just about business transformation. It's about celebrating the successes of their customers too. And I think in the world of tech, this is something that often gets missed. So, having seen Alistair awarding the Cisco CX Customer Hero Awards this week that recognise the companies who have demonstrated exceptional excellence and innovation, I wanted to learn more about the story behind it and understand how Cisco is helping pave the way for greater innovation in the industry. But enough from me. Buckle up and hold on tight, because no matter where you're listening in the world, I'm going to be beaming your ears directly to the show floor here at Cisco Live, where Alistair is going to share those stories. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Hi, Neil. So my name is Alistair Wildman. I run the global customer experience organization inside Cisco. So very simply, I don't build products and solutions. I don't sell products and solutions, but I make sure everything works. There's about 30,000 people in my organization in total. That's including the partners that we work with very closely on a day-to-day basis. And so we really deliver incredible support, trusted support. We do all the professional services work. So that's advisory services, professional services, anything where customers need planning, design, implementing new technologies. I also do all the motions around adoption and the life cycle. So a lot of customers have bought a lot of software. You have to make sure that's used and they can get value from it. I have the incredible renewal organization, which is kind of a little bit binary, because if everyone does a good job, then they renew. Yeah. And I have some elements of operations as well.
And you missed from there, you can rock keynotes in front of 10,000 people, right?
Very kind feedback, Neil. I think that's just because you're a Brit.
So obviously I was referring there to you on stage this morning here at Cisco Live. And for people listening all around the world, how would you describe Cisco Live to everyone listening? What do you love most about the event? Because I suspect it's a combination of technology and people. Is that fair?
So first, we do 3 events. This is Cisco Live America. Yeah. I have one in Melbourne, which is Cisco Live Asia Pacific, well, typically for the Australian market. Mm-hmm. And then we have Cisco Live in EMEA, which this year was in Amsterdam. I would describe it as a practitioner's event with interest from more senior people. Mm-hmm. So we tend to get people that are daily involved in the use of our technologies, whether that's networking technologies, data center technologies, collaboration technologies, or even security technologies. And then I'd say the extra flavor now is kind of people are very interested to see where Cisco is going as a company. So at the event today, we have a major update. So all the different kind of engineering teams will tell you what's coming new in their portfolio, and they save it up for this event. So nothing leaks out before this is the biggest event we do. You'll then get a lot of kind of similar themes. So we talked a lot about AI. Everyone is talking about AI. You can't move for AI. And what we've been trying to do is explain how we're using it, how we have been using it for quite a long time. We've had it in our technology for probably a decade now, and where we're going with it, as well as other new trends and areas in technology. I would say that we do get some executives here. There are definitely CIOs and CTOs, but they're probably the ones that are more interested in our areas of technology, as opposed to those that are more generalistically business CIOs and CTOs. So anything, I think it's 11,000 customers are here. We also have partners. So again, customers and partners can be the same thing for us, because partners can actually manage, run, and deploy technology for customers. So again, you'll have a big partner presence here. And then the final thing, which I referenced a couple of times, Neil, is we do a lot of training and certifications. So a lot of the more technical-minded folks in the teams of our customers, they like to keep current technology up to date. And so they will come here and they will take their certification exams. So whether it's a CCIE or a CCNA NP, so there's a huge amount of labs and certification areas where you can come and take those bits of technology updates that you need, or even new exams as well. And that's a really big deal. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people will come here for the whole week with a view that they'll get all their updates. They'll hear the keynotes, which is where the products, solutions, technical updates are, and they may take some of their own certifications themselves, and then they'll just generally walk around. We've got hundreds of partners in the world of solutions, lots of tiny companies that you've never heard of before, and lots of big partners that are the IBMs and those guys.
Yeah, so much going on here. And I'm curious, as the head of Cisco CX Services, how do you believe customer success has evolved over the years? We've seen a lot happen in the last 2 years for obvious reasons, but have you seen things evolve, and where do you see it heading in the future? Because like I said, the AI thing in 7 months has completely changed, hasn't it?
So let's break down what we're talking about. So I think you've got professional services, which are where projects are paid for, and that will always exist because customers need help with wide-scale deployment of technology. So I'm bringing new technology in, or I'm modernizing old technology, or I just need help because I don't have the skills. Customer success I think, is much more around, okay, so this is a continuum. It never ends. So I'm using a Cisco solution. So SD-WAN, for example. I may have already deployed it, but I'm probably not getting the most value out of it. So my customer success teams, it's where they will engage. They'll help customers with one-day workshops. They might do architectural sessions. Just generally, do you understand how these things work? And they'll tell stories from other customers without, sharing any classified information, but just this is how other customers are using the technology and the use cases. So we're very, very obsessed in a way with understanding why is the customer using the technology and what are they trying to achieve. And the customer success team is really trying to home in on why did you buy it and what are you trying to do? How do we get you to that value faster? Because at some point there will be a renewal because it's all subscription based. Where do I think it's going? It's interesting. So there's going to be some, I think, adoption motions for free. And you see this in a lot of the SaaS-based products at the moment, where kind of just getting you onboarded and started is for free. And then what we're seeing a trend in the industry, especially with some of our competitors, is they're now having paid-for services within customer success. We've not gone that route yet, although we made it. But the point there is there's higher value services that are not professional services, not statement of work based, but where customers need more help at the more complex areas. And actually they want people for more than just a day or a couple of days. So it's kind of, I think it's evolving. And then the last factor is if you've got a managed service provider. So these are customers that will run all that technology for you. They kind of do this already. And this is a model that's been around for a long time. They're trying to figure out their role in this. Because obviously every vendor now has customer success teams because it wants to drive adoption, because it builds a life cycle, which builds value. And then you've got the partners, the managed service providers saying, hey, well, that's kind of what I do. And I monetize that as part of my service contract. So we're all trying to fit into this new ecosystem.
And I think something else that's very evident here is the community aspect and the community feel of everybody here. And one subject I wanted to bring up with you was the Cisco CX Customer Hero Award. Can you elaborate on that and also the criteria used to select some of the recipients?
So I have it in the world of solutions, which is like the show floor, where people walk around. We get 2,000 or 3,000 customers a day coming on our stand. It's a lot of traffic. We've always had this idea of customer heroes. So let's look at the customers that we've been engaged with in the last 12 months who've done really cool stuff that, people want to talk about. So we try to take ourselves out the picture. So we're not talking about how great we are. And what we talk about is what do we do for that customer? What did they achieve? And why do we think it's a decent story? So a great example would be Princess Cruises. So we work really hard with Ben, who's the VP of the infrastructure there on all his cruise ships. Because once that ship leaves the port, there is no way you're going to get any connectivity to the ship. So we built really strong, fast, reliable Wi-Fi. Because nowadays, when you run a cruise ship, everything runs through either an application or a wearable. So you can, you can find your children, you can open your doors, you can order food and drink, and you can see all those services that are available on the ship. So again, for us, that's a really great story. Because yes, it's our technology, which is great, but also we really help Ben to achieve what he needs to do for his boss, which is the CIO of Princess Cruises. So again, that's a great example of customer stories. There are 8 different categories that go across. And again, so the way it's worked is the account managers nominate their customers. And we have several nominations, obviously, in each account. We try not to pick all the winners from exactly the same category. Yeah. So we had Baltimore Police Force winning. We had 2 hospitals winning because they're interesting stories, some enterprise customers and some small and medium customers. But again, it's really the use of technology. Did we actually achieve what we set out to do? And it's something that the customer's really happy for us to talk about. Again, it's the 3rd year of doing it. The first year I put it on the main stage, and you saw the customers, they're really happy they got to stand up. We give them awards, like their glass awards, and they take them back and they put them on there and they give them to their teams. And it allows our customers to also celebrate with their engineering teams. Because it's not just, we don't do all the work. Our partners are involved and their own teams are involved.
I think for people listening, just to bring to life what we're talking about here, are there any inspiring stories or specific examples of transformational successes that you can share with people today? I appreciate you probably can't share too much, but is there anything
The ones that, with regard to hospitals, are always the ones that people know in. So, in America, because these are American customers, I should explain. In America, you've got, the health system here is very kind of regionalized. So you've got clusters of big hospitals. So around Boston, you've got MGB, around, Pittsburgh, you've got their own, in California, it's mainly Kaiser. So what happens is that through the use of medical insurance, you tend to be a member of a group of hospitals. Now, as you know, because you're from the UK, we both,
yes,
your patient record is absolutely key. So we work very closely with a number of providers to say, okay, the medical record is really important because it's got vital information that can save lives. If we know your blood type and we know your previous history as quick as possible, then the clinicians can make decisions on the spot. So again, the ones we talked about were the children's hospitals. Obviously, it's pediatricians. So it's very, very much, a subject that people are interested in. They had 65 hospital locations. And so we worked with them to allow the parents to take their kids to any of those locations and get that record immediately at that location. So if you've got a sick child, you don't want to have to wait for records to arrive. They can literally log in. So it's a secure use of technology. It's understanding the kind of data with privacy data of the health records, which is obviously regulated anyway. But it's about access to that record so you can provide immediate clinical care. And I think that one is one of the strongest examples we've seen. The other one is security is always popular. And the two examples I gave, one was the health record because it was secure. The other one is Baltimore Police. So again, we work very closely with the Chief Security Information Officer of Baltimore Police to actually help to build him a brand new end-to-end security stack to stop cyber attacks. So again, these are really kind of brought to life examples of things that really help citizens or parents. And that's what we're really promoting here, is not the fact that Cisco is a great company, got great technology. We know that. Yeah. But really, what was the outcome for that? And then the final one, which you would have seen not in my segment, but on the keynote, was the NFL. Yes. Now, I didn't use the NFL as a hero story because it was already in the main stage and there was a big conversation. But if you think about how you secure an event of that size, I mean, you think about all the threat actors out there that would love to take down a prime time American show. There's people in countries that may not be as receptive to the American policy, in other parts of the world. So we work very closely with Kathy and that whole team there to secure the NFL. And we actually, I don't know if you went into the world of solutions, there's actually the visualization screens. It's really cool. I mean, so we've had that up there since the show. Been 148 attempts a day to hack into that to take it down by threat actors. Obviously, Cisco is the largest company in security, and we got a lot of groups out there that would love to show that we're vulnerable, and we've protected it. So again, anything that for us is you can show a real outcome.
Incredibly cool. And I'm curious, do you think this recognition in things like the Cisco CX Customer Hero Award, do you think that helps influence the behavior and innovation drive of the customers and a natural competitive edge almost?
This is a really interesting question. We know there are innovative individuals within every customer set, okay? I mean, engineers do not want to do manual tasks. They don't want to be managing the network. They want to automate it so they can spend their time innovating. We actually track those individuals as they move from company to company, and we see the types of projects they engage in. So we kind of, in the industry, there's some really well-known CIOs, CTOs, and CISOs who are very much pushing the edge. So, of course, we're tracking those people to make sure that we engage with them to help them with their visions because they tend to be ahead of the game. I do think that not only is it great for the company involved, the executive who we've got at the show and their team to be recognized in such a way at such a prestigious event. And yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of competition amongst the Cisco sales team now to make sure their customer is the hero next year. So yeah, I mean, is it going to drive, huge bookings? I don't know. It's probably not something that I don't see that side of it.
Yeah.
But the other point is that I've got a very large organization of people that are very, dedicated to making customers successful. They want to work on exciting projects. They want to work on the edge. They want to work on the NFL. So again, the more kind of those projects that we can bring in and work with the customers on together in partnership, the happier it makes my engineers.
And one of the things that stands out is how it's spread across so many different categories. So if you look at all the winners, are there any common themes or strategies that you notice to contribute to their success? Because we're mentioning the competitive edge. There might be people listening to this podcast looking for themes like that.
The first thing we should recognize is that it was Cisco and partners.
Yes.
Right? So and it was difficult to fit so much information into a short segment. Mm-hmm. But in most of these examples, we're working with one of our business partners. So we should shout out to Cisco partners because without them, we don't scale. I mean, there's no way that we have 600,000 customers and we could never scale to help all those customers.
Yeah.
In terms of trends, you will see one thing that have been driving innovation that we've completed because you need to make sure that the right people on stage to take the award. but also we try to have it across the different industries, but there's no real trends that I've seen. Yeah. What I do like about the awards, though, is that it's a chance for us to give back.
Yeah.
And, we need to do more of that. I mean, this event is not about Cisco. It's about all the people that come. It's about all those customers and partners that come all the way to Vegas. It's 100 degrees here for 4 days. We know that they've got a lot of pressure on their time. So we want to make sure we're giving back as much as we can do to the customers.
So how does Cisco partner with innovative leaders to foster their big dreams? And how do you think these partnership models have influenced their business transformations? Anything you can share around that?
Yeah, so our model is, my team tend to engage in new technologies, okay? Technologies that maybe not as proven, or skill sets that are not prevalent. So cybersecurity is a good idea. We do a lot of cybersecurity work at the moment. Now, our partners will have skills, but they may be slightly behind us in the skilling, because obviously inside Cisco, we get a lot of early views of technology. We skill our teams at a very high percentage. So if you look at the amount of time that my team are taking enablement or training or skilling, which by the way is all the same thing for us, it's much higher than, a professional services company. So we absolutely need our partners. We tend to we don't want to compete with them. We want them to take the business that they want to. But there are certain areas where we need to step forward. There are certain customers where we need to be present and we need to show leadership. And absolutely, you'll see, I think I made a quote today, there's about average of 10,000 people in America delivering professional services every day. About half of those are from partners and half from Cisco, and we do it together. So teaming is really important.
Fantastic. And I've got to ask, from your experience at this year's Cisco Live, what are some of the key trends or emerging technologies and ideas that you think will play a significant role in driving customer success in the coming years? There's a lot of talk about generative AI, predictably, but is there anything out there that really...
So I think AI is more of an education. What are you doing? What does it mean? And what's your policy on it? Okay. The trends for me, I think, were in the announcement. So we're moving away from single products to more platforms and suites. So we're going to have the networking suite, we're going to have security suite, and we're going to have the observability suite. So the moment, Cisco has grown from a number of acquisitions, we're going to make sure they can be cross-portfolio. So instead of everyone building a set of hardware plus software solutions and a controller that's independent, those controllers will now be able to control the whole estate. I mean, if you're a network operator or NetOps, you want to use one management console. You don't want to use 3. So I think that's what you're going to see, is that we're going to drive that innovation through simplicity, which is actually going to drive people to go much faster in terms of bringing new technologies into their network and with security in mind, into the data center with security in mind, and also with the collaboration. There was a session on quantum computing, which is really early. I mean, there's a lot of work going on to see if we can really increase throughput there. And some of the metrics are really impressive. If we can do things 100 times faster, that will make a real difference. One of the things I've seen, the trends of the show, I think, is where we're going to much more standard platforms and suites. So you saw with the networking cloud, the networking suite, the security cloud, the security suite, and the collaboration suite as well. So we are going to be moving away from having point solutions to solutions that actually work together, which should be much easier and simpler for customers. We know that sometimes having individual brand names can be confusing. So absolutely over the next number of years, you're going to see us simplify the portfolio as much as possible. And then finally, sustainability. Now, this is not just a buzzword for Cisco. So we have what we call the circular economy, and my organization is very heavily involved in that. We constantly do what we call energy assessments for our customers. Say, look, we could see the network you're running, we can see the hardware you're running, we can see the switches, the routers, the servers, whatever it may be, and we can make recommendations based on how much power you're using, which we can see. It's all telemetry data, and when we can help you save money. I know it's nascent. We started this year. I think that's going to be a service that we offer to every customer. And I think nearly every customer will take it. It will not be an expensive service, but just to give you an idea of your footprint, the energy consumption, and then we'll make recommendations if you change this part, that part, how much power you can save. There was an example that was given, but we don't reveal the company name for obvious reasons. There's a service provider in Europe, and they actually upgraded their entire estate because they made a 90% saving on power. And this was around about probably 8 months ago with, what was going on in Ukraine, and the energy prices were really going up. So I do think sustainability, it's going to be really big. A lot of the requests for information, requests for product that we have as a company, there is a sustainability clause in there, particularly in EMEA. Less so in Americas, but definitely in EMEA. But I don't think this is a kind of buzzword. I think this is something where people are going to want to say, okay, if I'm investing all this money in technology, what are you doing to make sure that there's a circular economy? What are you doing to help me save power, save money, So my carbon footprint is reduced because I also, as a company, will need to provide those statistics back to my, ESG group.
But I'm starting to notice ESG scores. A lot of companies, but they don't know how to work that out. So I would imagine this service is going to come into that. Are you noticing a real desire because companies need to have an ESG score? They need to show their partners that they're sustainable.
So I think 90% for the data we've seen have that already. I think some of them record it in different ways.
Yeah.
So we're very, very focused on the metrics that we can stand behind. So there's certain things that we can get from our technology through telemetry, so the power ratios and the cost of the power ratios, and that's stuff that will tell you that these numbers are correct and that you can use the savings for your ESG score. How that's done at the back end is down to each individual.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some standards being formed, but they are by country as well, so that there'll be different policy in different parts of the world. But we will do our best to provide data that we will stand behind, that we know customers can use and feel that they can use it in a way that they're not going to be called apart.
Yeah. And for anyone listening would maybe want to keep up to speed with all the work you're doing, where would you point everyone listening to if they want to contact your team or just find out more information?
Yeah, so on the Cisco website, there's an area to CX where we produce our solutions information. If you are a Cisco customer, then obviously you may have a Cisco account manager. You can always contact your account manager and get through to the CX team. Or if you're a Cisco partner, of course, you'll know how to contact us. So yes, I'd say definitely we put as much as we can do on our website, and we keep it up to date. It's a very live website. It's not static because there's a lot of new stuff coming.
Well, I'll have those links to the show notes so people can find you nice and easy. I love this intimate gathering we've had today. I mean, it feels a bit strange. I've been seeing you in front of 10,000 people earlier, but just a big thank you for taking the time to come straight from there to talk with me today.
Fellow Brit in America as well.
So a huge thank you to Alistair from coming off delivering a keynote in front of thousands of people to joining us today here on this podcast and sharing some amazing stories of innovation and success. And I also want to extend some congratulations to the 8 Cisco CX Customer Hero Award winners. I think their work is not just transforming their business, but helping to transform the industry as a whole. And I'm incredibly excited to see what new heights that they will reach in the future too. And as we wrap up today's episode, remember this: technology is not just about innovation, it's about the people, the heroes behind that innovation, the ones who dare to dream and strive to achieve those dreams. So as always, thanks for joining me today. If you want to send me a message, techblogwriter@outlook.com. You can also get me on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, just at Neil C. Hughes. And I also cordially invite you to join me again tomorrow. We'll continue this exploration into the world of technology and innovation. And as for everybody listening, remember, keep innovating, keep dreaming, and most importantly, from this podcaster's point of view, keep listening. A big thank you for listening as always, and until next time, don't be a stranger.